Today on the show, we're going to talk about something I see a lot in the comments. Marvel or DC? Which one do you choose? Which one is better? So I've seen it and you've seen it. I don't read Marvel, I only read DC. Marvel sucks. I don't read DC, I stay true to Marvel. And I'm here to tell you that that is a very, very silly thing to do. In fact, you're not helping anyone, you're just hurting yourself. And honestly, both Marvel and DC don't care. For a long, long time, it's been accepted that not everything Marvel does is amazing, and not everything that DC does is amazing. And it's this team sport attitude that's just so ignorant. You shouldn't have to choose. In fact, you definitely shouldn't choose. It's so stupid. And it's people that really don't know much about comics and aren't willing to learn more about comics that are perpetuating this attitude. At the end of the day, comic books are art. And art is about experience, it's about learning, it's about discovering yourself through your own work and through other people's work. And by dismissing a whole group of artists' work based on the company that releases their work, you're just hurting yourself and you're missing the point totally. Sometimes DC is slamming its way through the comic book market, destroying all competition, and other times Marvel is so far on top you can't even see them. And we're in one of those times where Marvel is definitely on top. But I was in my comic book store the other day, and pretty much everyone in there agreed that we're coming close to a time where DC is going to be the one on the top, and Marvel is going to have a very slow and very awkward decline. What you have to do is just kind of walk between both companies and read a bit of this and read a bit of that. I mean, it's okay to have a favorite title, like my favorite title, as you all know, is the Teen Titans, and that's perfectly fine, but if the Teen Titans were over with Marvel, I'd still be reading the Teen Titans. I always tell people to focus on the artists and the writers that create the comics, not the companies. I mean, the companies are earning money through every possible orifice, whereas the artists and the writers really don't get paid that much, and it's really sad. How I tell people to get into comics is actually how I still read comics to this day. I tell them to find a writer that they like. Now you might be saying, well, I don't know any writers, I'm just getting into comics. Well, in that case, you have two options. One, just follow a character you know, like everyone knows Batman, Superman, the X-Men. Follow that, or tell your comic book shop the kind of things that you like and they'll be able to give you a very good recommendation. For me personally, Grant Morrison is my favorite writer of all time. I discovered him through his Seven Soldiers work, and I love everything Grant Morrison does. I mean, his version of Calaron the Witch Boy is blatantly the best version. Grant Morrison has done stuff for both Marvel and DC. He created the current Batwoman for DC and Kid Omega for Marvel. And both of these characters are in my top 10 favorite comic book characters of all time. Okay, so now that you found a writer that you like, start reading a series that they've worked on, and once they leave the series, if the series keeps going, keep reading it, because you might prefer the new writer. If you keep doing that, you're going to have more and more writers and artists to follow, and eventually you're just going to have a comic to read every day. An okay alternative to doing this is to get a Diamond Previews catalog. Now basically, the Diamond Previews catalog allows you to see the comic books that are coming out in 3 months' time from now, and you can kind of read what they're about, and that should give you a vague idea on if you're gonna like them or not. Now, while I do think the Diamond Previews catalog is okay for the big two, it's definitely an amazing tool for indie comics. I find the majority of my indie comics in the Diamond Previews catalog. So my current recommendations from DC are the Harley Quinn comic, which is an amazing series. It definitely shows off that character's full potential and definitely shows that she can handle having her own series, and Forever Evil, which I believe this week or next week is your last chance to jump on reading this series by monthlies. As far as Marvel goes, I definitely recommend the new Black Widow comic, It's more story-driven and word-driven as opposed to action, which is a very good thing because if you have too many action comics, you kind of get fatigued after a while. Also, Fantastic Four is starting back up again next week, which I'm very excited about actually, and Fantastic Four is very famous for being newcomer friendly. All in all, when it comes down to it, you shouldn't be following Marvel or DC, you should be following amazing stories and amazing art, because that's the only way that you are going to grow as a comic book reader. I'm very open in saying that Grant Morrison's Flex Mentallo changed me as a person, and I only got to read that comic because I was willing to experiment and try new things. And if it wasn't for that comic, I would not be here right now. It's super effective! Okay guys, that is it for today. If you have any comic book recommendations, please let me know in the comments down below. And also don't forget to thumbs up and subscribe if you want to see me talk about current comics more often. And also don't forget to like me on Facebook and follow me on Twitter. My name is Faust, this has been Exploring Comics, and it is super effective. Quick side note before I go, I'm sorry that today's video was shorter than usual. I'm actually very busy working on a huge project I have that I'm sure all of you are going to love, but for a while Wednesday videos are gonna just have to be slightly shorter than normal. I hope you can all understand and appreciate that.